Prabowo, the final detonator that destroyed Xi Jinping's credibility. By Christovita Wiloto, Chairman of Strategic Indonesia. Introduction. Amidst the rising global tension between East and West, between state control and human freedom, a new chapter unfolds in Asia's geopolitical landscape. It is a chapter in which Indonesia's newly elected president, Prabowo Subianto, takes on an unexpected role within the power constellation of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. According to credible intelligence and strategic analysis that merit serious consideration, Chinese President Xi Jinping is now reportedly under house arrest, a casualty of a soft coup triggered by the massive exposure of fake debt scandals between China and Indonesia. This information doesn't stand alone. Over the past 2 years, both open source and covert signals have pointed to internal instability within the CCP. Yet it was never anticipated that one of the main catalysts behind Xi's downfall came from outside China, namely Indonesia, through the intelligence and diplomatic maneuvers of Prabowo Subianto. This paper offers a strategic reconstruction and analysis by Christovita Wiloto of the key events that pushed Xi Jinping to the brink, the unexpected role of Jokowi in manipulating fictitious debt, and Prabowo's brilliant moves amid the power struggle between China and the United States. 1. China's fake debt scheme and Jokowi's role. Credible sources indicate that during Jokowi's administration, 2014 until 2024, Indonesia became a playground for fictitious debt schemes backed by high-level political elites. Companies like PT Taspen and Waskita Karya were portrayed as owing money to Chinese state-owned banks. However, these debts were fictional. No actual funds ever flowed from China to Indonesia. In fact, off-the-record banking insiders report that the so-called Chinese debt was actually money embezzled from Indonesian state-owned companies. These funds were laundered domestically using manipulated documents to appear as foreign debt. In return, China received massive illegal concessions, unauthorized nickel smelters and control over strategic mineral exports, violating Indonesian law. In short, China was granted concessions in exchange for debts that never existed, marking an extreme cross-border corruption scheme. 2. Xi Jinping and the strategy for global retaliation. Xi Jinping, renowned for his anti-corruption campaign that purged over 1 million CCP cadres since 2013, found himself entangled in this very scheme. It is suspected that Xi permitted these manipulations to support Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) projects that were losing momentum. However, the evidence ended up in Prabowo's hands. Trusted sources state that during a visit to Singapore, where he met PM Lawrence Wong and Chinese delegates, Prabowo presented proof of these abuses, tarnishing China's reputation. Xi returned from the trip and was reportedly placed under house arrest. The first 8 days signaled the start of a quiet coup within the CCP. High-ranking military and Politburo elites began removing Xi loyalists from positions such as the Foreign Ministry, Defense Ministry, and even 4-star generals close to Xi. 3. Prabowo. The silent strategy that shocked the world. Prabowo didn't wield weapons. He wielded data. He didn't bring troops. He brought evidence. In Singapore, he allegedly handed secret intelligence files exposing the fictitious debt between Indonesia and China to factions already wary of Xi, even within China. This quiet collaboration pitted Prabowo and Xi's overconfident rule against global and domestic forces aligned with transparency. Trusted sources even suggest Donald Trump was in back-channel contact with Prabowo. Trump, long critical of China's dominance and BRI, saw Prabowo as a catalyst to unsettle Xi. What unfolded combined hard evidence, diplomacy, and what many call divine providence. Who would have imagined an Indonesian president facilitating a Chinese coup? 4. China's fury at Jokowi, respect for Prabowo. ASEAN intelligence sources report China's elite are furious with Jokowi for what they call betrayal. They believed he would keep the debt scheme hidden, but his successor exposed it. Yet, they also respect Prabowo, not for destroying China, but for exposing Xi's missteps. Within CCP circles, this was seen as service to the party, not treason. In gratitude, China's central bank, PBOC, reportedly accelerated debt disbursements to Indonesia via web banks, i.e. World Bank channels, releasing 35 trillion Indonesian rupiahs per day after the scandal broke. Prabowo is hailed as a hero abroad by China's non-Xi factions, a moral, diplomatic, and strategic victory. 5. Prabowo and the Singapore strategy. The secret meeting that changed the world. Trusted sources say that behind the formal meetings with PM Lawrence Wong, a high-level intelligence operation was unfolding. Prabowo brought evidence implicating CCP elites, and possibly Xi himself, in corruption. He presented documents detailing fake debt transactions involving Indonesian SOEs like Taspen, PTPP, and Waskita Karya, debts that never entered the Indonesian economy but were created on paper to launder corrupt funds. Coordinated with Indonesian intelligence and Western military contacts, these documents were shared with reform-minded Chinese factions and international partners. 6. The Hand of God or Grand Strategy. Prabowo-Trump connection. U.S. national security think tanks report that Prabowo and Trump were in secret dialogue about China's internal crisis. Trump and his advisors viewed Xi's leadership as a strategic burden. They allegedly green-lit Prabowo's action in Singapore, a global finance and diplomacy hub. He acted not only as a national leader but as a global patriot exposing wrongdoing. Within 10 days, Xi vanished from public view, skipped Politburo sessions, and was reportedly under house arrest, citing health reasons. 7. Domino effect. Xi's fall breaks China's corruption chain. Xi's disappearance triggered chaos in the CCP. High-ranking officials were removed. Foreign Minister Qin Gang vanished, Defense Minister Li Shangfu was dismissed, and 9 generals purged from the Central Military Commission. A power vacuum emerged, sparking speculation of a soft coup. Analysts in Tokyo and Singapore believe Prabowo's documents were the final blow that eroded Xi's credibility, enabling factions to act without causing public unrest. 8. Jokowi. Master deceiver or foreign pawn. While some viewed Jokowi as a pragmatic leader, trusted investigations suggest he permitted corrupt schemes. He used China's cooperation as a front to legalize domestic funds in infrastructure via fake debt. Xi may have been duped. China appeared to invest in Indonesia, but reality showed no money left Beijing, while Chinese elites gained smuggling channels for minerals, labor, and surveillance technology. 9. Prabowo's victory. From betrayal to national blessing. Prabowo didn't just reject previous corruption deals, he exposed the beneficiaries, including foreign and domestic elites. As a result, China now trusts Prabowo. Indonesia is reportedly receiving 35 trillion Indonesian rupiahs daily from web banks, not through corruption, but thanks to renewed trust built on transparency and sovereignty. 10. A new path for Indonesia and Asia. Prabowo's peace strategy. With Xi stepping down and China undergoing economic recalibration, Indonesia emerges as a bold, honest, and respected force. Amid global crises, Taiwan tensions, Europe's slowdown, and the Ukraine war, Prabowo offers stable, compassionate leadership. Is it out-of-the-box strategy? Yes, but many see it as divine intervention. As Psalm 33 verse 12 states, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he chose for his inheritance." Now, Indonesia under Prabowo could be chosen to lead Asia in peace, justice, and freedom from debt colonialism.